Back in December 2019, I got my digital FPV system, and since then I haven't really looked back. I converted everything that I fly on a day-to-day basis over to digital, and for the kind of flying that I do, which is sort of proximity, close range stuff, it's been pretty much a game changer. Yeah, I don't really do a lot of long range stuff where analog probably still has the edge. And as for the extra latency, well, it's not something that I really noticed, especially now that I've switched to Tracer as well. So I used to run Crossfire and now I've gone to Tracer, and the latency is even less noticeable in my opinion. Now, I didn't get rid of these. These are my trusty Fat Shark HDOs. They're still knocking around my room, and I kind of kept these because I thought if you're flying whoops or baby tooths or any of those kind of small crafts, then you're still probably going to be using analog, at least for the foreseeable future. But for the last 18 months or so, I haven't flown anything like full size, 5-inch or above with analog. So I wanted to kind of go back and reminisce about what it used to be like. So I figured it might be fun to do a totally fresh build, completely from scratch, using sort of the best components I can find for analog, and put it together and take it for a spin. I was also going to use this opportunity to sort of highlight a couple of products that I've been sent, and I think they deserve some attention because they're quite awesome. The first thing I wanted to show was this VTX. Elliot from Rush FPV sent me this. It is a Rush Tank Solo, and it looks lovely. I just wanted to sort of show off how pretty this thing is because, yeah, FPV products, they're often just sold pretty bare bones in a bag with nothing else coming with it. And this guy really takes some pride in the appearance of his products, it seems. Like this really nice red anodized aluminium bottom, and the heatsink on top looks beautiful. And yeah, comes in a little box with all the things you'd expect, plus like a manual. Like you don't get manuals for FPV products as well. This level of attention to detail is kind of unprecedented in the hobby. Got to give him some respect for that. Plus it does about 1.5 watts or something. This thing is ludicrously powerful. And yeah, that's kind of why they call it a solo, I guess, because they don't really expect you to use this when other people are flying at the same time. On the desk, you can see the other products I'll be using in the build. We've got the T-Motor Velox 2207 1750 kV motors, a Tracer RX, the FETTEX stack, so that's the FC and the ESC, and a Cadex Ratel 2 camera, which looked to be the best going at the time that I recorded this. In this bag though, in this very fancy shiny red bag, is the frame. This is something I wanted to draw attention to especially because this is from a company called Supafly, and they're based in the UK, so they're local, which is really great. And they have a couple of frames on the market. This one is called the Juicemode, and the nice thing about Supafly is they don't just build a frame and then just ship it you and that's that. They do custom tunes for all their frames. So when I bought this, he asked me what FC and what motors I was using, and he created a tune specifically for that, which I think is great. Like that level of customer support is awesome. So if the frame flies amazingly, then this is a really good advert for them, and you should definitely check them out. So the Juicemode is kind of like an Astro X style frame, the kind of thing that you would associate with juicy flying, hence the Juicemode. But yeah, look at all the extra bits that come with it. Blue set of hardware as well, because I said I like blue. So he printed me a blue GoPro Hero 7 mount as well, and a whole bunch of 3D printed accessories as well. He even went to the trouble to custom make a tracer mount for me because he hadn't got a tracer mount. Just really nice, really good customer support. Love it. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to mention about the build. Everything is here, all nice and organized, and we will turn this into a build by means of some kind of montage, I'm sure. Okay, so the build is done. I took my time on this one. I wanted to do a nice job and really show off the frame. So I gave it the Sync trademark paint job, where I just paint all the sides of the carbon in blue and pink. I just use like little Sharpie markers. But yeah, there's a couple of things I wanted to mention about the frame that I noticed during building. The first is that it is very, very stiff. I don't think I've felt a frame that feels like this well put together. And I think one of the reasons for that is all of the screw holes, not the motor ones, but all of the screw holes that connect the frame parts together were like just a tiny bit, like a fraction of a millimeter smaller than the screw. So that when you're screwing it in, there is actually a bit of resistance. And that means that there's absolutely no give in any of the screw holes, which means everything is held together super tight. Really nice, and it should mean that there is very little noise in the frame. In the box, you do get 2 sets of standoffs, so you can choose between like what I've done here, which is what they call the slammed version, which uses 20mm standoffs. And they also provide this bag of 30mm standoffs as well. So if you want to have a bit more room in your build, if you might want to have like a triple height stack, if you put the VTX on the 30x30 mount or something like that, then that is an option as well. Time for the weigh-in. So the frame and GoPro Hero 7 Black and the 1100 milliamp 6S comes in at 714 grams, which is a bit of a shame. I was hoping it would be under 700 considering it is a analog build. But these days the Vista doesn't actually weigh that much because you don't need to have like an SMA adapter on the Vista. You don't need to use an OSD board. So the weight difference is probably negligible, and 714 is just a touch lighter than what I'm used to. My frames are about my usual builds are about 725, something like that. So 714 should be nice, should be what I'm used to. Now, one thing I briefly mentioned earlier was that when you get a Supafly frame, they do have tunes for various setups. So I went online and found the 1750 kV 6S tune for Kiss, and I have loaded that on the FetTech FC that's in here. So I'll take the laptop out as well tomorrow, so we will try this on the sort of Supafly tune, and we'll see how it flies. Hopefully it should be good. And yeah, if there's any problems, we can do a little bit of field tuning. So yeah, let's go out and give it a test. This will be the first time I've seen 5-inch analog footage since I got the DJI, really. Even when I was setting this up, I used like a little screen on my desk. So I haven't ever put these on for proper 5-inch Freestyle in a long time. Do you think I will be surprised in a good way or surprised in a bad way?
I think you're just building up a list of excuses about when you tank it into a pillar or something.
No. I just mean the initial impression of the video.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
You think so?
Yeah, I think you'll suddenly think, actually, analog's not that bad.
Okay. It is clearer than I was expecting. Yeah, okay. I can fly this. First flight on analog in, what, a year and a half? Something like that. Alright. It's like watching on an old TV.
Yeah.
You know, like when you get digital for the first time.
God, that seems a long time ago.
It's like getting a 4K TV for the first time or something. And now I feel like I've gone back to my parents' house and I'm watching on their shitty TV. Okay, so analog it's actually pretty good here. You've flown analog here before, Alex?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, there's not too much breakup at all.
In the metal structure, you notice it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, the odd line here and there, but man, no, this is totally flyable. It's kind of a bit unnerving, like not being able to see all the shit on the floor though. It just becomes a load of pixels rather than individual like bars and chairs and things. I was wondering if I'd notice any latency difference, but I don't think I'm that sensitive to that, to be honest.
It's got a good latency though, isn't it, the Rattel?
Yeah, but I mean, it's supposed to be better than digital, right? Like analog.
Oh, noticing it in a positive way, right?
Yeah. But I think it's just, it doesn't feel that different. The analog is actually making me a little bit less comfortable on playing with the metal.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't see it as well.
I think you got to retrain your comfortable limits, right? Because you're used to where you could see in digital in a spot. You know, it's not that you can't fly there, you just need to know what your vision's like. Absolutely.
But it's good that we're doing this somewhere that we've flown
a lot.
A lot, yeah. This feels really nice, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, everything is perfect. It's all brand new motors, brand new props. Perfect frame, like brand new. No cracks. And it feels amazing. But is that the frame, or is it just because everything's new? Yeah, the tune feels absolutely perfect. I'm not gonna lie. This is Steve's custom tune for the 6S. Man. Okay, let's try and make it do prop wash. What? It's flawless. What the hell? Ah, I got a bit there.
Hey, we heard it.
Screw you, Steve.
Yeah. Boo.
I mean, that's having to go full throttle out of a dive.
And do you think the analog is affecting the tune?
Jesus, that's good. This is better than my normal build. 100%. But I mean, the tune is specifically designed for this setup, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's what he does. That's one of the things that he's known for. Oh, 15 volts. Better bring that in. Okay. 17.
there you go, it's on its way to recovering.
Damn! Alright, I'm actually really impressed. That flies better than my quad. Like, noticeably. It's so clean.
That's ace.
But he's definitely, like, he did something weird with the TPA, which is a setting I've never played with on Kiss before. He's changing the PIDs, and that's about it. Well, I mean, there's not a lot else you can do on Kiss. But it makes me want to change, but I do want to see, because like we were saying earlier, it's like when you start dinging up the motors, when you start damaging the props, having a really clean, like very minimal filtering can be a negative, because you kind of maybe want a bit of that.
Yeah, how much buffer have you got on a
exactly
on shanky parts? Yeah.
And I don't really want to crash this because it's really pretty.
I don't really want to crash this.
Cool, actually.
Heard it? What was it?
Oh god. Oh. Whoops.
Whoa, what a great noise. That was proper scary noise.
Where's the quad?
Further down a bit.
Oh, right.
It bounced a long way. What shape's the battery?
It's pretty round now, yeah.
Okay, good.
Where'd the quad go?
It went that way.
What?
Did it go up? I think it might have gone up a bit.
Look at the back of the car.
Let's go and have a look up here.
It's pretty much full front.
Oh, there it is. My goodness, that's gone a long way. Wow.
Let's check out the damage.
That was, looks all right. Oh no.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh, bloody nebula.
It's all right, I know how to fix those.
GoPro's fine. Yeah, so the battery strap went. All the motors survived. Lovely stuff.
That's pretty cool crash.
Frame still looks pretty perfect. Yeah, that was crazy. Again, I'm gonna blame that on analog. I mean, yeah, probably pilot error, but it was just a little bit too low. So I just clipped that metal fence.
I think we'll just go and investigate the flaw that Tom claimed he couldn't see on analog, because I'm not sure digital or analog changes the earth.
Field of view, mate. It's field of view with the camera. So that was my first experience flying analog in just over 18 months. The take homes are really that the main thing I noticed was that the screen was smaller. I think the field of view is probably similar, but because the screen is smaller, you don't feel quite as immersed. The breakup, not really a concern. Didn't really get much breakup in that location. And to be honest, the rapid fire and the VTXs these days are pretty good. So breakup's not really a concern. And you can't really talk about analog without mentioning latency. And I'll be quite honest with you, I couldn't notice the difference between this and my digital setup when it came to latency. Now, I'm not an expert on the topic, but I think that every person has like a latency threshold, that if the latency goes above that number, then they start to notice that something's off. And I suspect that my threshold is probably higher than, say, a racer's. So for me, having tracer as well, which basically means that part of the link is as low as it possibly can be, any latency from digital or from the camera seems to be quite negligible. And digital is variable, that is true, but when the variation is only a few milliseconds, like 1, 2, or 3 milliseconds, then I think it still is always falling under that threshold for me. But the resolution definitely did put me off. So the resolution is lower, you can't see things as far into the distance as you can on digital, so I felt like I had gotten short-sighted, and it definitely affected my confidence. So I probably won't be switching to analog full time, But it was a fun experiment just to see, and it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. In fact, to be honest, it's pretty damn good. Okay, final thoughts on the frame. So this was the Supafly Juicemode, and I usually fly the Armatan Badger, and I have been since as long as I can remember, really. So it was quite a sort of a step out of my comfort zone to use a different frame, but I loved it. The performance of this thing was amazing. There's like zero vibes. The prop wash was basically non-existent, and it really did hold up to quite a few nasty hits, as you saw in that video. The tune as well. So the tune was specified by Stephen from Supafly, and I just put the numbers in exactly as he had. I didn't even test it. I went straight out, flew it, and it was amazing. It was perfect. Didn't have to change anything. So can definitely recommend Supafly if you are looking for a new freestyle frame. The only negative, which is very minor, is that the camera mount, when you're using the slammed version, uses the little TPU things. And I think you may have saw that I did actually smash a camera lens, so I don't think they're quite well protected enough. But I have heard from Stephen, and he said that he's working on cam plates for the 20mm standoffs. So if you use the 30mm ones, it does come with little cam plates that you can use, which would definitely mount the camera better and probably let you set it back just a little bit more so that the lens would be more protected. That's coming for the 20mm standoffs, so that's great. Another thing, which is more of a personal preference really, is that I'm running the XT60 out the side, as this seems to be the only real place that you can put it on this frame, and I don't really tend to like having the XT60 on the side. I'm always a bit worried about prop strikes. I know you can put a strap around it and like tighten it down to the battery, and loads of people do that, and that's fine. But I usually run mine between the camera and the battery. That's kind of like where there's a little hole on the Badger that lets you put it through there. So I've asked him, and he's going to try and make a top plate with a little hole there to put the XT60 through. So with those two things fixed, this will be a perfect frame. Okay, that's going to end this video. I think that's everything that I wanted to mention. Yeah, if you're looking for a new freestyle frame, can definitely recommend the Supafly. And the VTX performed flawlessly. I think everyone knows Rush VTXs are great. So yeah, go check those guys out too. Thank you to both of those companies for sending me the products. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one.